Good afternoon. How are we all doing? Right, getting my chair sorted. How are we all doing? Shut that one down. Sorry, it's getting organised. Right. Not a lot going on today. Well, there is a bit going on today, but not a massive amount. Afternoon, Crom, John, Daniel, Baggy, Steve, Andrew, Diamond, Fletch, Berlino, Virginia. How are we all doing? Not banked much today. Actually, not banked too much. Not banked too badly, but not banked a huge amount. So we've got a bit of movement. No ADRs hit. A little bit of movement on the US dollar and the Canadian dollar, but not a lot else really. So ADR reversals. Remember I said this morning we had a bit of a loss. Why am I suddenly not able to draw? What's going on? Give me a sec. Pen's broken. So yeah, we had a little bit of. Actually, see that, can you? Because my head's in the way. ADR reversals, yeah. So we banked 0.991% loss yesterday. That's all come back today, 1.23% gain, sitting in 2.75. So a lot of that movement has all undone itself today. New Zealand dollar Swiss is the only thing that's really getting stuck on that at the moment. This New Zealand dollar's a little bit crazy. So New Zealand dollar Swiss 1.5. I can't actually get that. One sec. H1M5 banked 0.35 today, sitting in 1.5. There's loads that is almost bankable there, but not quite. H4 2.61 drawdown, banked 1.27% today, so that's up to 8% for the month now. And the H1 mean reversion not banked anything today at all, completely flat, 6.5% in drawdown. So banking some bits and pieces, nothing particularly exciting today. Afternoon, Brian. So yeah, so it's not been a massive amount of movement. Gold. Steve's into gold already. Not going anywhere. So yeah, nothing on ADR today. There's nothing hit ADR today. Nothing's hit its weekly range so far because we had bank holiday yesterday in the UK, so there wasn't a lot of movement. So yeah, fairly flat day so far. RSIs, there's not a huge amount on the RSIs, pretty similar to what we looked at this morning. Got 3 minutes to the open. We'll have a look at those in a second. But as you can see, little bit of a push up yesterday, a little bit of a pullback down today, but nothing, nowhere near ADRs on anything. The only real massive movement we've had has been on this US dollar. So we had a big sort of push down rally in the last few hours on the US dollar. So everything's come down against the US. Euro US dollar is at a beautiful weekly support from last Tuesday. So nice bounce potentially off of that for the euro. But as you can see, US dollar CAD's pushing, US dollar Swiss is having a bit of a push. So the US dollar is fairly strong today, not massively, but a bit of movement. But, you know, we haven't even done 3/4 of an ADR yet. So blooming gold, it's because I got scared off of oil. Yeah, well, gold's not really gone anywhere because obviously the US dollar. But the US dollar is coming down at the moment because US dollar's pushing. But crazy movement on Friday last week. Since yesterday, not really done anything. So this is kind of flag. But I don't know what's going to go on with the US dollar. Could go up, could go down. We don't know. So looking at the Dow today and the NASDAQ for the opening range breakout, your pre-market is 1 minute to go to the open. Your pre-market 15-minute range is there. We've just had a fairly big dip down on the Dow. So there's your pre-market range, which is going to go in a minute. On the higher time frame, basically, there's a run up to yesterday's high. And you've got that high from last Wednesday as well. So this area here is potentially going to find some sellers. To the downside, there's nothing until last week's low down to last Thursday. So if we go for a run to the downside today, we're clear for 150 ADR before we hit any real support. We're hovering around yesterday's low at the moment. So they have dipped down below yesterday's lows. You can see this blue dotted line here is yesterday's low. They dipped down below that and pushed back up again, tap back into it there. So we might be seeing a rejection of yesterday's low going on. It's all very slow today, so hard to tell. But 1 minute to go, 1 second even. There you go. So there's your pre-market 15. You're long. If you're trading the pre-market 5 or 15, you're long. So we'll see where that goes. S&P, pretty much the same. NASDAQ, we're setting up at highs on the NASDAQ. So the NASDAQ and the Dow have got very different price action structures at the moment. We're up at the last week's high, which we tapped into yesterday and pulled back from. There's last week's low, which we haven't challenged yet today on the NASDAQ. So right now, very, very tight range, sort of half an ADR-ish. So not a huge amount there at all. Echo. I haven't got an echo, don't think. Shouldn't have. Not as far as I know. Echo, co. There's an echo. Afternoon, Stevie. Afternoon, Neo. Afternoon, Michael. I'm really annoyed with the Euro New Zealand and the Aussie dollar Swiss. What have they done to you? Euro New Zealand's still coming down. Oh, by the way, I pushed out an update today for the indicator. So the support resistance propulsion indicator is fixed. I have fixed it. I found the bug, tracked it down, sorted. So it's all fixed now. All updates, doesn't remove itself from the chart nastily. And I've pushed out the MT5 version. So the MT5 version of support resistance propulsion is now out there. You can go and get that if you want to. It's not very good, I have to admit, because it's MT5. There's a lot of code in there. It's doing a lot. So yeah, it works, but not very great, not very good. No, it's nothing wrong with the indicator. MT5 is not very good. Not going to go into that again. So Euro New Zealand, we'll have a look at those two, as David has mentioned them. Pre-market 15 and 5. It's just coming down to test that low. So if you did get triggered on that on the opening range breakout EA, you are stopped out and probably short now. We have a whippy open. There's no news today, by the way. So there's no news to worry about this afternoon. So the market can do what the hell it likes, which isn't a lot today, really. News this morning as well. I don't quite know what this means, but Italy intends to exit China's Belt and Road Pact as ties fray. Not quite sure what that is all about. But apart from that, there's nothing else really this morning, news-wise. So it's all flat on the news. There you go. Bit of a whippy open on the Dow. So the Magic 8 Ball says, reply hazy, try again. What? Afternoon, evening outro. If you're trading the 5-minute open outro, you've just been stuffed this morning, or this afternoon, this evening. Well, stuffed one way, other way, potentially, might go. So Euro New Zealand, yeah, so this has dropped quite dramatically, as we know. We're coming out of an hourly RSI extension at the moment, but big, strong move. We have had one kind of flag stroke profit take on that. I class a profit take move as being at least a 38 retracement. So if you measure that, we did get a 38 retracement on that. So I would say that is probably a profit take move. This move here, however, nothing yet at all. So there's a lot of potential pullback on this Euro New Zealand at the moment. We're down here. So I've got 2 longs on this at the moment. 38 retracement brings you back up into there, into this accumulation. Deeper retracement of 50 brings you into that propulsion gap. So I would suspect we're coming up there somewhere at some point. The euro will power up, but at the moment it's just not able to get any traction. So if you look at all these euro pairs, they're all very weak at the moment. Nothing is really able to get any traction whatsoever off the back of the interest rates. The market really did not like that interest rate on Thursday last week, as you can see. We had a big down day on Thursday, big down day on Friday. Yesterday didn't do anything. Today not done an awful lot, but that will all get filled, these propulsion gaps. That one might get orphaned, but I would imagine we're going to rally and drop off, shoot out the highs. But we'll see. Aussie dollar Swiss. Aussie dollar Swiss, I've got one short on at the moment here. Coming up into 3 week ago high. We have touched 3 week ago high. Literally yesterday, we came straight up into it, double topped to the pip, and are now running down into these propulsion gaps. So we need, the problem we've got obviously with Aussie Swiss, so if you think about it, if you've gone long Euro New Zealand and short Aussie Swiss, which I suspect you have, what you've actually done is double up on the same trade. So Euro New Zealand is very similar to Euro Australian dollar. Aussie dollar Swiss is very similar to Aussie dollar Euro. So what you've done is you've doubled your exposure by going on Euro New Zealand and Aussie Swiss, because the Euro and the Swiss move together and the Aussie and the New Zealand move together. So that's why these are inverse. If you look at them, what the Aussie dollar Swiss has done since the Euro rate, and then flick over to the Euro New Zealand. Yeah, that's because the Swiss franc is weak. That's why the Aussie dollar Swiss is rallying, because there's no Swiss franc strength. So both of those will play out at some point. Just waiting at the moment, as I am on my pound US dollar short, which I've been tempted to take today, but I'm leaving on. I'm being brave. Right, let's have a look at the Dow. Very whippy open. So there's your 5 minute opening range. So if you did take the pre-market, you got whipsawed today. 5 minute opening range break is long. So there's your 5 minute ORB. There's your long trade. So looking at the Dow and where we're going potentially today, I'd be looking no more than yesterday's high initially, which is all the way up there. So you've got about 196 points to yesterday's high, and then, yesterday's high is there, previous day's high is there. So those two areas there are your upside potentials. Right, let's have a look at RSIs. Afternoon, Ratib. 5 minute NAS stopped. Oh, yeah, let's look at the NAS. Didn't look at the NASDAQ on the pre-market. So your pre-market on the NASDAQ was a nice long. Dependent on obviously where your stop was. You got at least a 1 hour out of that, didn't you? Stopped break even long so far. I haven't had a trade short. Not yet. So a little bit of divergence here. We've got the NASDAQ rejecting, and we've got the Dow attempting to push higher. So a little bit of difference there, difference of opinion. It's the biggest reversal alert I've ever seen in my life on M5. It's huge. Anyway. Nasty, nasty, nasty movement. Right. Okay, so Aussie dollar Swiss, very temperamental. Yeah. It'll come down. You just got to wait on the Aussie Swiss. It's not really going anywhere. So literally yesterday and today, we've not gone anywhere. So just waiting on it at the minute. Wait for it to do something. Right. Okay, so RSIs. So at the moment, the hourlies, we've got 38. So we got a little bit of time before the next hourly candle closes. So EuroCAD. Sorry about the stream this morning, by the way. Anybody that was on it, my internet cut out again. So the stream had to get cut short. I had pretty much finished everything I wanted to say, though. So we actually finished this morning pretty much on time, which was lovely. I've got loads of coding done this morning, hence managing to get the MT5 version of the indicator out and the fix for this one. So there you go. If I don't spend time on stream, I actually get work done, which is nice. When I say work, I mean strategy development and indicator stuff. So EuroCAD, let's start with the hourlies. These are your hourly RSI extensions. So there's 4 of these to look at. Nothing is really extended yet at the moment. So first one we've got is Euro CAD. So that is extended to the downside on obviously the Euro drop. So big, strong drop down there. Looking for propulsion gap fills on this. There's loads of targets to the upside on the hourly. We've got this big one at the top here as well. So there's a big movement on this. We're waiting for some strength on this Euro. I think this is just a market overreaction, basically, to what happened with the rate announcement last Thursday. So we got an expected rate announcement of 3.75. The market factored a little bit more than that in. So they unloaded some positions on the Euro. They will drive those back in, though. So the Euro is still along, except at the moment, the Canadian dollar is obviously strengthening as well, based on oil. So that is kind of extended and embedded, as you can see down here at the moment. But we'll get a profit take move on that. That looks good. So Euro CAD long, got one on at the moment. Just waiting for it. Euro pound extended. So had one on the Euro pound on Friday, which got out. That's now extended again, just about below the 25 level now. Might get another signal to go long on this shortly on the Euro pound. So it's sitting at 27 at the moment. Currently we're trading at 24.4. So if this stays down here in the next 20 minutes, going to get a signal to go long on the next 5-minute reversal alert. So drop down M5 if you're not using the EA. If you're using the EA is just going to get you into it automatically. But if you're trading manually, there's your 5-minute reversal alert for a long. Euro New Zealand dollar extended to the downside. Looked at this one already. There's 2 positions on this one with the H1 M5 mean reversion. A little bit of drawdown control done on that yesterday, sitting down there. We're not gone anywhere today. So this sustained weakness that we had on Thursday, Friday was a little bit mediocre. Yesterday we had a little bit of a drop, nothing today. So again, targets to the upside. There's a few older ones up here from a week or so ago, but initial target's going to be there and there for pullbacks. So that's a good looking long opportunity. That one not quite extended as the others, but and Euro US dollar. So we've had a strong US dollar. This is a beautiful support, look, Euro US dollar. So that's last week's low. We've tapped straight into that. We're in a range. We've been in a range now for 2 weeks, stroke 3 weeks, if you take that larger range into account. So these are your range lows there and there, these black lines here. Your monthly high and last week's high is there. So beautiful range at the moment for this one. We've got CPI figures tomorrow. So we are going to get some movement on the US dollar tomorrow on CPI. We will get some movement on the euro based on what the pound interest rates do, because the interest rates in the pound have a big impact on European business. We've got a lot of two-way business with Europe and UK. So interest rates there will affect where the business puts their money. And then we've got PPI tomorrow for the US dollar, sorry, on Thursday as well for the US dollar. So there's a lot of euro, potential euro and US dollar movement coming up. So we're going to see a bit of movement off of this one. Right now, though, that's a beautiful extension on RSI, M5 reversal alert. You're literally going to get it in 1 minute, 52 seconds. That's going to be your reversal alert for a long signal. So there you go, Euro US dollar. Good looking long. So there's your hourlies. Outro, where did you learn to code? Did I study at uni or self-taught? Bit of both. So when you say uni, I went to college when I was young and started programming in DOS. And we had green screen monitors. So that's how long I've been coding. But MT4 and stuff, I'm self-taught. Never done any courses. Coding's coding, logic's logic, arrays are arrays. Just different languages and different ways of expressing the same thing, basically. So when you know how to code one thing, you kind of know how to code another. You just need to learn the differences in the languages, really. I'd say probably 80% self-taught. 20% in college, that was DOS. Then Windows came along and made everybody redundant. Branson can send people to space, but can't keep the internet working. I know. Who'd have thunk it, eh? I've had no problem with my internet. I've been with Virgin for 4 years. Not had a problem until, was it last month? They something went massively wrong. Virgin went down pretty much throughout the UK. Since then, I've had 2 outages, but they've only been for like 20 minutes at a time. So in 4 years, but this morning it came back literally 10 minutes after it went off. So it wasn't a massive problem. I've had exactly the same issue with them. Yeah, there's as I say, I've never had a problem with them, but trouble is, it's no point in jumping ship to another provider. Go, oh, I've had 2 outages. You go to someone else. It's all the same cable network. So they did this stupid update, and it's been hit and miss ever since. Yeah, just what happens. Sounds a bit like MT5, doesn't it? They do an update. It's been hit and miss ever since. Pound yen. Someone wants to look at. We'll quickly have a look at that. And then we'll go on to the H4s. So pound yen sitting in the middle of nowhere at the moment. Bang in the middle of the RSI 50. Just flat, sideways, not doing anything. So not a lot you can really do with that at the minute. You got target to the downside here. And obviously you've got target to the upside, but you've got the interest rate announcement on Thursday. So this isn't going anywhere until Thursday, unless something happens with the yen. If the yen pumps, it'll dump. If the yen drops, it'll pump. But they're not going to do an awful lot with the pound until Thursday, because obviously they want to wait and see what the interest rates are going to be. So nothing to do there. You're sideways. So sit on it, wait for something. It's more long than short at the minute. Yeah, no real reason to get into anything on that at the moment. Right, Dow is gone flying out the highs. So there's your 15-minute opening range. Very big opening range on the 15 minutes. So your 5-minute opening range breakout was beautiful today. Lovely long on that. So you've had a 70-point move off of a 45. So it's 1.5 hour straight away in 5 minutes. So looking at this level wise for the Dow, just watch these levels here. Previous day's high and yesterday's high. Those would be the areas I'd be concentrating on to the upside. So still plenty of room. And then obviously that's going to fill that propulsion gap. We've got propulsion gap target up at 100 ADR as well. Looks like it's rejecting quite hard at the moment. Very whippy at the minute. So very difficult open on the Dow. Right, NASDAQ. NASDAQ. RSIs even. There's not too many to look at on this. CAD Swiss extended to the upside. So very nice extension on this one on the 4 hourly. I'll flick over. So we've got into a bit of an accumulation on this after this massive rally. So this was obviously the euro rate announcement there. And obviously the Swiss franc dumped with the euro. So big, strong push. We've pulled back up now into that 24.72 zone. So when you're in a trend, you use the 24.72 for trend bounces. Yeah, so we're back up in there at the moment. Continuation short. Canadian dollar is going to go with the US. So if the US is going to collapse when they default in June/July, we're going to see some weakness come through in that Canadian dollar as well. And obviously, if that euro rate announcement that we've had, that they're going to be putting the rates up until July, is going to actually happen, then we're going to see the Swiss franc power up. So this one you would be looking still for shorts on. So this is in a really good spot for shorts on the 4 hour. If you look at the fundamentals on it, CAD Swiss is a sell. So we've got fundamentals saying to short it. COT is ever so slightly short on it. Retail at the moment are long, so it's a nice short. So a very nice short opportunity, CAD Swiss. Extended on the 4 hour. It was extended on the hourly. So that's the entry that I got there on Friday last week when we got extended above the 75 level on the 1 hour. Since then, we've just got into a 2-day accumulation sideways. So this thing could push, accumulate, and push for another leg. If it does, obviously just scale in, and we'll get out when we come back down to challenge all these targets. But really nice targets to the downside on this. I'll be surprised if this one pushes much further, but we need to see what happens with the US dollar. Euro odd, that's going to be obviously tomorrow when we get the CPI figures. Euro odd, big extension to the downside, same as Euro New Zealand. Yeah, Euro New Zealand, Euro odd, very, very similar movement on these two pairs. So again, nice extension on the hourly. I've got one on the hourly from here on Friday. So this is a 4-hour RSI extension that we're still in at the moment down here. We're in the 24.72 zone, as you can see. The 24 is just rolling over. The 72 is just coming up under here somewhere. So this is a nice area where we'd be looking for buys to continue this rally long. Euro still strong. Australian dollar. I mean, the Australian dollar isn't massively strong at the moment, but obviously the euro is very weak off the rate announcement. So they will buy this euro back up again, but very, very, very nicely extended down here at the moment. So just looking for a pop, basically. So we've now got on this move 475 pips to the downside. So that's 3 ADR basically to the downside with no profit take whatsoever. So be looking for at least a 50% retracement on that. If not, a challenge back on these highs. So looks good for longs. Euro odd. Euro CAD. That's very extended. Again, same as the New Zealand CAD. Yeah, going to get very similar price action on these two. Sorry, New Zealand CAD. What am I talking about? Euro CAD. I was talking about the Australian dollar, Euro odd and Euro New Zealand. I was looking at these two. Yeah, there's Euro odd, there's Euro New Zealand. Comparing those two together, we're on the Euro CAD. So ignore me, it's been a long day. So Euro CAD, very big drop, basically. Strength in the Canadian dollar on the oil price pushing, Euro weakness. We looked at this one this morning for a potential long opportunity, and obviously now it's embedded down here. So potentially, we're coming down to the 72. So this is getting to kind of a point where you'd be thinking there's something potentially going wrong here. So similar movement to this. Yeah. Looking for that pop next. We're going to need the Canadian dollar to remain weak with the US at the minute and the euro to pump. But that looks like a very nice entry long. If you look at this historically, when we get down to the 20 level down here, it's not often we don't get the pops. Yeah. So one there, one there, one there, one there, one there, one there. We are now. So as long as the fundamentals stand up, which they do for the Euro CAD. Where are we? Euro CAD. Let's see. So +3, range bound, but you got COT on side at the moment with a +4. Fundamentals are all positive stroke neutral. At the moment, we've got retail all longing it at the moment. So the market's not wanting to drive higher because all the retail are all going long on it. So it's saying a short. As soon as that retail moves, we should get a nice rally off the back of this. So ready to go. Euro CAD, nicely extended to the downside. If you're taking it on the H1, you're already in it. Looking to get into a second position on this one. 104. So yeah, pretty much primed. So M5 drop down, wait for a reversal alert on this one. M15, you're about to get one shortly. M5, pretty much in the same place. 146.860. 146.890. So pretty much the same place. 5-minute M15 reversal alert is going to be there. Big old targets to the upside. Euro CAD looks good. Euro pound is the other extension on the 4-hour. So that one is also extended. We've pushed out the lows here. So this last month and the previous month's low, which was that also that low there. So we had a nice double bottom on the monthlies. We've pushed down below that now, and we seem to be holding. So it looks to me like we're coming into this propulsion gap here. So 150 ADR potentially to the downside on this. Now, the thing you've got to bear in mind with this one, we are now nicely extended here. So we've got a pretty nice divergence forming, bullish divergence. And we've got the euro, the pound rates coming on Thursday. So there's good potential for this to continue to drop until Thursday. If that pound powers up on Thursday, then obviously this is going to potentially come down further as well. So where you are at the moment, we're out of these lows. There was no entry on hourly, was there? Oh yeah, this was the one I got in an hourly. So exited hourly on this one. So if you didn't get out on that exit on half an ADR, you will be in that trade still off of that extension on the hourly, and you'll be looking to take a second entry on this now. but it's just about to get extended again, just about to take a new entry on that one. But there's not really any good support until we get all the way back down into this propulsion gap here. Yeah. So if you're going to get in on the next reversal alert, be prepared for roughly an ADR, 1.5 ADR roughly to the downside before we get back into this area of balance. And then there's option obviously to come potentially test that low. So somebody asked me if I could put the yearly highs and lows on the support resistance propulsion indicator. So I might do that as well, because that is December. Yeah, see, that doesn't work. So your annual low is all the way back down here. I'm not sure whether it's really that relevant to have it on there. We go back 6 months on the monthlies on it already. So don't know. I'll think about that one. I might put it on. We'll see. It is a good level, the yearly. You always get a bounce off of them. So Euro Pound, very nicely extended, ready for a long. Euro New Zealand, we've kind of looked at this one on the hourly as well. So we've looked at all three of these on the hourly. 4-hour RSI extension and hourly Euro New Zealand. Sorry, that's Euro US dollar. I was looking at that thinking that's the wrong one. Euro New Zealand, yeah, so massively extended on Euro New Zealand to the downside. So big, strong push. Going to come back on that when they do a profit take. Just waiting. So we're down below the 72 on that as well. So big drop there. New Zealand dollar Swiss is your only other one that we've got extended. So push to the upside. One sell on that one at the moment in the 72.24 area. This move here, so that one there, we had the profit take. This one with here, we haven't had a profit take on it yet. So nicely extended, big, strong push. Couple of little flags in there. Nothing to write home about, now in an accumulation. So potentially this could push up more. We need that euro strength. So that Swiss franc is just weakening off the back of the euro. So big targets to the downside, nicely extended and embedded on the 4-hour. Hourly, that was the entry there on Monday, yesterday. So got in the first short on that, looking to come back down and test these areas down here at some point, but really nicely extended at the minute. So that's it. So there's your 4-hour RSIs and your hourly RSIs. Dow pushing nicely. So we've got propulsion gap formed. We've got 2 propulsion gaps formed on the open, one there and one there. So watch those areas when we get to exhaustion for targets to the downside. Dow, we've got plenty of room. 115 to 150 points more to the upside. There's your levels there. Looking good. Dow for a run. Right. David, since you've been testing the strategies, have you witnessed the H4 M5 get anywhere near 5% drawdown? Yeah, I've been in. What is that portfolio? Do you mean the on here on the H4 M5 that's running on the VPS? April we did, didn't we? I'm pretty sure because in April we had those squeezes on the Swiss franc. So in April everything will have got squeezed. Euro Swiss. Let's look at something like Aussie Swiss. March, April. I don't know. Possibly. You're thinking prop firm, aren't you? If you're talking about 5% drawdown, you're thinking prop firm. I don't know. Difficult to tell. I don't really monitor that it's very, very difficult to monitor open drawdown. It's one of the big problems with testing is monitoring open drawdown with position trading. If you're using a stop loss based strategy, your drawdown that you get reported in the strategy tester is what your drawdown is. So you're drawing down because you're stopping yourself out. With position trading and drawdown control, you never see what the total open drawdown is. And it's not stored by MT4 at all. So it's something if you wanted to test it, you would need to build in some kind of export system where we save a file, a CSV or a text file every 5 minutes, every hour or something, which stores the actual open drawdown. And then you would need to run that on multiple pairs, amalgamate the results, and give yourself an open drawdown kind of reading. But it's difficult to know. I haven't noticed it, but then again, I haven't really been looking at it. So I'm not sure. H4 in March and April, though, we didn't get massive amounts of trades because there was very little movement. Everything contracted really badly. So we didn't get a lot of movement, which was perfect trading conditions, obviously, for mean reversion. But we didn't get a lot of H4 entries. The hourly was a lot better. So I'm not 100% sure. I might build in, I'm rebuilding the market reversal alerts EA at the moment. In fact, I'm not building it with the market reversal alerts indicator. I'm building it with something slightly different. So I might build in an open drawdown export function there because it would be handy for testing for prop. Brian reminds me, would MT4 cause an issue with internet connection? I've noticed on several occasions when we get close to news, my MT4 will disconnect. Yeah, that's just because your broker can't send you the data. It's not to do with internet connection, it's to do with data. The amount of volume and ticks that come through your terminal around news is exponentially like 100,000 times more. Huge, 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 huge. Which is why you get massive spreads because the volume of orders coming in is much bigger. So your terminal will freeze around that time, a lot of the time. It's not to do with the internet, though. Not to get all tinfoil hat, but it started happening when I got my funded account. Some brokers you might find are more susceptible than others. Depends on the size and how their infrastructure is set up. But it's not like you do. I get it all the time. And it varies a lot. My Forex funds, I don't notice it very much on. Robo Forex, on some of the accounts on Robo Forex, I notice it more than others. The ECN connection, the ECN accounts are fine. The demo accounts I have that run, they tend to experience much more lag than the ECN does, which you would expect because they're not real. But this is ECN, so this is better connection, basically. But what you can also do is you can try to change the server. So rescan the servers. So in the bottom, you can't really see that, can you, down here? But you got rescan servers down here. Move that up a bit, you'll be able to see. So it says there, rescan servers. You can just about see it. If you're not on the fastest server, you can always do that. But also rescanning servers when you do get the MT4 lock up will clear it faster as well because it will find the fastest one. And if the one you've just got the data from is clogged up, it will go somewhere else. Just getting a little bit of rejection at the moment on the Dow. First bear candle going in now, inside bar. Well, it's not actually, it's a higher high, but sort of an inside bar forming. Amar, hello. Michael, New Zealand dollar yen 4-hour RSI and divergence to short. Already in short on that on the hourly RSI extension. So I'm in on this yesterday. Nice M pattern. 4 hour. Yeah, you got RSI divergence Nice bearish divergence. It's good. Just basically that monthly high that we took out there, which was the previous month's high, that basically kind of forced that rejection back down again. We've pushed back up. There's not really anywhere else to go on this. We're going into a propulsion gap. So this was that last big movement on the yen. So this is one of the few yen pairs that hasn't filled that yet. So there's the euro yen there. Same move on the euro yen. That was the yen movement. They filled it very, very quick. New Zealand dollar yen. Put a little line on there. So that's the big strong move that we had. If you look at all the other yens around that time, they all kind of filled it fairly quick. New Zealand dollar yen was really weak at the time. That's the one that didn't manage to get that gap fill done. And it got sort of pushed back down even further. So it's coming back up. I suspect we'll probably get back up to origin on this. So there's a good potentially 150 ADR move to the upside on it. So if it comes down half an ADR, I'll get out of that position, or the EA will get me out of that position. If it pushes up, I'll scale into a second. When they get that gap fill in, then we'll probably get the pullback off of that. So at the moment, this is either going to be flag, break to there, and then we'll get a pullback on that move, or it's just going to pull back on that move and get me out down here, and then potentially push up. But yeah, nice divergence on the 4 hour. You can see I got a trade on that one in there as well. That was on the hourly. That was the initial entry there. Second entry there. And exited both there. One drawdown control in there. So yeah, looks good. New Zealand dollar yen. Dow's just rejected. So we've got an outside bar just formed on the Dow. So we're pausing at the moment. So break of that outside bar, potentially we might get a run. So downside targets. Gayrat, is it good to take shorts on New Zealand dollar yen? Just talked about that one. What's the targets? I mean, you've got all this down here, which isn't touched, which is down below the 2 week low. No, that's last week's low, sorry. Down below last week's low. There and there. So you can see all the time. If you've got the support resistance propulsion gap indicator, you can see the targets. They're there. That one's kind of done. So, and that one's kind of done as well. So, and that one's kind of done as well, to be honest. So that really, half an ADR on this is 53. So to be honest, I would get out, or the EA will get me out if that propulsion gap fills there. So this propulsion gap here, which is a break of that high, that'll be me done on the New Zealand dollar yen, because that's half an ADR. But if you want to hold it longer, all the way back down into there, it's debatable whether that's filled, and that is pretty much filled, and that is pretty much filled. So I would say that one's gone, and that one's gone. So those are your three targets to the downside. So I would hold it. If you want to hold it long term, I would go 225 ADR from where you are at the moment, which is basically last week's low. That would be target. Oh, US dollar. So the US dollar's weakened a little bit. Just had a pullback on that pound US back into propulsion. So market structure is still short on it. There. Not really got a lot of movement. I'm not expecting a lot because we're waiting for the news on Thursday. Wall Street Trader. Most funded accounts use live plugins. For TFT, it's really bad. Use live plugins? What do you mean live plugins? Demo accounts, you mean? Yeah, if you're using the funded trader, they will be bad. because they are a comedy prop firm, aren't they? Because they think it's a game of knights and castles. When it loads, the website's gone all slow now, look. The kingdom, the funding kingdom. You can just imagine, like, the guy that owns this company or the guy that went to the web design company went, right, we need a website. Okay, brilliant. Go and find me a gaming website and replicate that. Not a financial one or a professional trading website, but go and find me one about a game and let's replicate that. That's what we're going to base it on. Let's make trading a game. And they're funded by 8Cap. Don't use them. They're terrible. My LG and Oanda account does it very rarely. Never paid much attention until now. Fidel's tracking that news trading. Yeah. Yeah, Fidelcrest, you've got to be careful with that Fidelcrest with the news. That's why I would imagine why they don't want you trading 5 minutes before and after news, because it's to do with their liquidity. They can't match the liquidity if they are copy trading, because they will copy trade you when you prove yourself profitable. But until then, they're not interested, are they? So one more question about target on pound US dollar. Oh, I'm on pound US dollar now. There you go. I think I've already answered this one. Sure. Yeah. 125 ADR. So my target on pound US dollar at the moment, this is on my prop account, is 125 280. That is my target right there. On that propulsion gap there. So I'm looking for that to get filled, basically. Dow's pulling back into first propulsion. So if we get some buyers stepping in here, this is the break of the high there. If we get some buyers stepping in here, this is a good looking long. That move there. Just going to bank US dollar CAD. I'm not. The EA is just about to bank US dollar CAD. What is it? 47. Oh, no, it's not. Got a bit of a distance to go yet. 47. A little bit more. This lot all to be filled. Potentially. Obviously all the way back up to there. However, just be careful with the US dollar. Could collapse at any moment. If the Fed comes out and says something stupid, it could drop very, very fast. Are the ADR values a daily constant, i.e. do not change on each time frame, unlike ATR? Also, when does it change? At midnight. Yeah. The ADR is average daily range. So it's basically, it plots the high and the low of the last 10 days average daily range. So that is calculated from the low of the day and the high of the day. So that there is, in this case, 94 pips away from the low of the day. That there is 94 pips away from there, which is the high of the day. So as the high of the day moves up, this line will move up with it because it's measuring one average daily range from the high and the low. So when we hit that, it means that we've moved down and up the average daily range of the instrument. And obviously it's calculated on a daily candle. So when you start a new daily candle, you start a new ADR. All explained on the website. If you go to the ADR reversal indicator, there's a video there which explains all about ADR. I'll put a link in there in the chat. That explains all about ADR. How I calculated it, how I did all the research. Did loads of spreadsheet analysis on it for 15 years or something. This explains it all, basically. Go watch. Do you face with the broker XNES? I don't face with them, no. What can you say about them? Don't know, never used them. XNES. I use Robo Forex at the moment. So I only use big brokers. I know XNES are pretty big. I can't even... XNES promo? That's a affiliate. But I've never used them. I've no idea. Is that them? That's the broker, is it? Weird website. Doesn't give any information about the... my God. Yeah, no, I never used them. But anyway. Loads of brokers out there. Do your due diligence on them. Loads to choose from. So got a little bit more looking to bank today. Aussie dollar yen, US dollar CAD, New Zealand dollar US, all close to getting out of those. So that might put some more in the bank for today. Nothing really getting close to any drawdown issues on the H1M5 at the moment. Euro New Zealand is the thing, obviously, which is squeezing the most at the minute. So looking for some euro strength to come through. We've got no New Zealand dollar news. Oh, yes, we have. No, we've got inflation, haven't we? Inflation forecasts on Friday for New Zealand dollar. So we might get a little bit of movement off of that on Friday. But we should have the euro moved before that, hopefully. So yeah, there you go. Anybody got any other pairs they want to look at or anything else they want to discuss? Really should have banked that pound US dollar earlier. I'm going to hold it. Very little extended on RSI today. Let's wait until Thursday news. Yeah, it's not a lot. There's not a lot to discuss really today and yesterday because we've got no ADRs to look at. RSI's, it's the same old stuff. It's all euro based at the moment. So yeah, I mean, all the opportunities have kind of played out over the last week. Everything's banked. So just waiting for some setups, really. It's all a bit meh at the moment. Pound CAD. So pound CAD's stuck to the downside. Again, you're going to have to wait until Thursday for this. Look at the mess of that. Look. Squeeze. There's a good example of a squeeze for you. So that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 positions. Aggressive drawdown control positions to get out. But at the moment, we've got all this downside targets to fulfill. So where we are at the minute with this one, this is obviously a pullback on that move there. So if you look at it on the 4 hour, it's a lot clearer what we got going on. So it's a pullback on this move here. We've pulled back basically to the 50%, almost to the pip. In fact, exactly to the pip, 50% retracement. Back to the 24. So yeah, just a nice pullback, waiting potentially for that rally. So at the moment, we're 4 hour RSI extension to the downside. So it's a nice looking long opportunity, but there are lots of downside targets. However, at the moment, with the Canadian dollar being so weak on the back of oil and the pound having its interest rates going up on Thursday, we need to see what happens. For me, at the moment, if you look at the pound pairs, from a fundamental perspective, it's a very mixed bag at the minute. You got pound CAD range bound at the moment, getting your retail on short on that, and that one will be a nice long. Pound US dollar at the moment is a short. So this, if you can see by the COT, there's nothing really strong or weak on the pound. However, with the interest rates the way they are at the moment, and the inflation the way it is at the moment with the pound, there's nowhere for this to go but up at the minute. So that 10.1 is got to come down to 2%. And the rate it's coming down at the moment is far too slow. So 4.25 on at the moment. We're going up to potentially 4.5 on Thursday. That isn't enough. I don't think the market is going to be particularly impressed with that. Look at what happened to the euro when we got the 3.75 expected interest rate rise, tanked because the market wasn't impressed. So this has got to go up faster. I would love to see that on Thursday because it means that we'll get on top of inflation faster. But I don't think they're going to do it. Bank of England have really dragged their heels with the interest rates. So if we get the 4.5 on Thursday, it's very difficult to predict which way this is going to be going. If we get 4.75, we're going to get a massive rally on the pound. That's what I would love to see. However, I don't think we're going to get it. So it's difficult to tell what the market's going to do with it. If we're going to get the same impact as we did with the euro, i.e. the euro rates going up to what we were expecting, however, not getting on top of inflation fast enough, pound's going to come down. So right now, it's very, very difficult to take any trades on the pound 2 days before the interest rates because you're going to struggle if we get a drop on the pound based on the interest rates coming out as expected. Look at what's happened to the euro. You're going to get 2 to 3 days of drop. Not so much against the euro US dollar, something like euro New Zealand. So you're going to potentially get, this is where we are with the pound at the moment, yeah? So we're there, sitting on the 24. Potentially we're going to drop down to the 72. So we've got a good 2 ADR drop, possibly. But it's difficult to tell because the market's factored in all the rate rises almost perfectly on the pound since our friend Liz Truss crashed the market. They factored everything in perfectly. It's just been a lovely little trender. So I think we're going to continue doing what we're doing. However, I'm not sure the market's going to be impressed on Thursday, but we'll find out. But as you can see at the moment with these 4-hour candles, look, it's just wicky. We're not going anywhere. We probably won't for the next 2 days, really, on that one. Which I don't mind. I'd like to see it drop a little bit. Brian, no pairs, but what the hell is this? The 10th of May, tomorrow at 9 o'clock, you've got the harmonized index of consumer prices year on year. Yes. 10 o'clock tomorrow. For the euro. Harmonized index of consumer prices. It's that, basically. It's the German final CPI month on month. Yeah. So that's what they're worried about, Fiedelcrest. They're worried about that moving the market. So yeah, keep an eye on that. The German CPI figures. But that's what you're not allowed to trade tomorrow. I'm really glad I failed that Fiedelcrest one. I'm still on one at the moment though, but I don't care. It's an evaluation. I can trade what the hell I like. I'm up 3.2% at the moment, sitting in 0.65% of drawdown. So I shall have this one passed hopefully in the next couple of weeks. Do you use the same strategy for trading the US 30? Well, opening range breakout on indexes. I don't position trade indices at all. This is the opening range breakout EA. So this takes breaks at the open. It's a breakout trend EA. I don't position trade indices. They're too tricky, I find, to position trade. Here's German CPI, yeah. Playing word salad on Fiedelcrest. What a headache, I know. You just got to keep on top of their feed, basically. As long as you just basically, whatever it says there, go by it. You kind of have to set up a Google Calendar. The trouble is, if you get a market reversal, well, mind you can't trade automated, can you? On feed or crest, it's all manual. So yeah, I was going to say if you're using the market reversal alerts EA, there's a potential that it could take a trade over news. But nothing you can do about that. Right, that's all I've got for you today. So yeah, just waiting for stuff to play out at the minute. No massive movements. I'm not planning on seeing any massive movements today. So bear in mind, tomorrow we've got CPI. So we will get some movement tomorrow, but not until tomorrow afternoon. That's an hour before market open. So we've got decent potential for movement there. And then that's what we're waiting for. So even with the CPI tomorrow, I don't think we'll get a massive amount of movement ahead of lunchtime Thursday. As soon as that rate is in, they'll know what to do with the pound. When they know what to do with the pound, they'll be able to reposition themselves as they need to. So we'll get some decent movement on Thursday. Apart from that, it's going to be a pretty flat week, I think, at the moment. So, which is good. As long as it's going up and down, that lot will all get banked. It's just a case of I don't think we're going to have a lot of opportunities for new entries. So would be nice to go flat, wouldn't it? Every now and again, it's nice to go flat. Right, I'll leave it there. If you need anything else, I'll be in the Telegram group. Back tomorrow morning, 7:50 and 2:20 tomorrow afternoon for the Frankfurt and the New York session. Working on EAs at the moment. I'm just figuring out the wide range, the propulsion gap, wide range bar, whatever you want to call it, indicator, EA. I'm just getting all the final touches for position trading. And I'm also working on 2 other EAs at the moment, which I'm doing testing on for sentiment and a newer version of the market reversal alerts EA, which I'm trying to simplify down for backtesting purposes to try and get it faster. So I might introduce a new version of the market reversal alerts indicator with none of the extra crap in it. When I say extra crap, I mean the stuff that I don't use. So it's kind of a position trading version of the market reversal alerts indicator, but getting rid of all this, everything in here. So literally, it will be based on a line. None of the higher time frame analysis stuff, anything like that. It's just going to be a very simple structure break indicator. But I'm not going to build an indicator. It's just going to be in the EA as a trigger to get in. So I'm just trying to get the speed of the back testing up. And I've got new drawdown and aggressive drawdown, automated aggressive drawdown system that I'm working on as well, so that it hopefully will be able to do aggressive drawdown control automatically. But it's going to take a while to develop it. So I'm going to work out the box. Right, have a good one. I will be back. I need a pint, Brian. It's a bit early. It's only 3:30 in the afternoon. I'll be back tomorrow morning, 7:50, same time for Frankfurt, 2:20 for the New York session. Otherwise, in Telegram if you need me. Other than that, have a good one, and I will see you guys tomorrow.